know tennis is typically praised for its skill, elegance, and sportsmanship, but sometimes things don't quite go as planned. In fact, we've seen some questionable behavior from players that left fans, umpires, and opponents speechless. So, let's take a look at the moments when tennis took a less honorable turn, from sneaky tricks to outright cheating scandals. Hugo Gaston drops a ball from his pocket. Let's begin with a particularly bold move from Hugo Gaston during the 2023 Madrid Open. During a rally he was about to lose, Gaston did something that looked innocent at first but turned into a big problem for him. He pulled a ball out of his pocket and dropped it on the court, hoping for a point replay. Gaston probably thought he could get away with it because he moved very quickly. I mean, the umpire didn't catch on at the time, and even his opponent, Korna Burek, didn't see it, but the ATP sure did afterwards. That was when he knew he was cooked. Instead of getting another chance to hold the serve, Gaston was hit with a massive fine of $155,000, the biggest in tennis history. It was later reduced to half that amount, along with a probationary period of good behavior. But let's just say this is not a trick we'll likely see Gaston attempting again anytime soon.
I struggled to, I guess it was the rest of the Millman match.
John Millman rubs the balls with his sweat. During the Australian Open in 2020, John Millman faced off against Roger Federer, and in an intense moment, Millman pulled off an unusual trick. Instead of relying on pure skill, he tried something a bit, unconventional, making the tennis balls wet with his own sweat. Disgusting, right? He quickly rubbed two of them off on his damp shirt late into the fourth set. Why, you ask? Well, wet tennis balls are heavier, which makes them move slower throughout the air, and that could give Millman an edge against Federer's powerful shots. Another problem with Millman's silly tactic is that it could go on to mess up the timing of shots throughout the rest of the game. Now, some claim that there isn't an explicit rule against it, but I beg to differ. According to the USTA tennis rules, a player may not take any action that materially changes the condition of the ball. The funny thing is that Millman's actions did very little to change his situation. He still got whooped by the 38-year-old Swiss champion. He only ended up drawing more attention to him getting coached by an umpire. If you thought players were the only ones capable of bending the rules, think again. At the Florence Challenger, Pedro Sousa was involved in one of the most unbelievable moments in tennis. After winning the first set, Sousa had a conversation with the umpire, Gianluca Mascarella, and let's just say that it was not about the weather. Pedro Sousa had a match against Italy's Enrico Della Valle, and after he won the first set against him 7-5, the umpire actually coached Sousa, telling him to hurry up and finish the match. It was such an unusual situation that the umpire was suspended by the ATP not long after. It was very unprofessional, and even though Sousa eventually won, people had a lot to say. Speaking of unprofessional actions, that wasn't the only reason the umpire got suspended. Mascarella was also caught saying a lot of inappropriate things to the ball girl at the match. He asked her, "Are you okay? It's hot. Do you feel hot, physically or emotionally?" He also made nasty comments like, "You are very fantastic and very sexy." Very disappointing coming from a gold badge umpire. Lukas Rosol has tried everything to see Rafael Nadal fail. We've seen some. Lukas Rosol thought it'd be a good idea to knock over Rafael Nadal's perfectly arranged water bottles after a changeover. If you know Rafael, you know he's very particular about his rituals.
I went through a lot of warnings under my tennis career. Never for breaking a racket, never for doing a mess on court, but yes for the time clock. You know, I have a problem that I am sweating a lot. You know, and when you are playing again during these very humid conditions.
So this move was definitely an attempt to get under his skin, but Nadal still won. Lukas wouldn't be the first person to try this with Nadal. Marinko Matosevic also did it some time ago, but was disappointed. These kids never learn. But we're not done yet. Rosol still had a trick up his sleeve. A year later in Basel, he tried tapping his racket on the floor right as Nadal was about to serve, hoping to throw him off and make him lose his flow. Did it work? Nope, Nadal won both matches. Daniel Koellerer's match fixing. Up next, we have one of the more notorious cases of cheating in tennis, Daniel Koellerer. This Austrian player didn't just bend the rules, he flat out broke them. Between 2009 and 2010, Koellerer tried to fix 5 matches by offering other players money to lose. In one instance, he offered around $10,000 to throw a match. This wasn't his first strike, though. After he decided to start playing professionally in 2002, Koellerer was suspended by the ATP for bad behavior on the court on 2 different occasions. One was in 2004 and the other was in 2006. After the latter, he was banned for 6 months. One would think that Koellerer would have learned his lesson by then, but in 2009, he told a player that if he ever needed to fix a match, he should let him know. His actions caught up to him in 2011, when the tennis authorities banned him for life and fined him $100,000. Surprisingly, this is the first case of a tennis player being banned for life. Before this, Koellerer had reached number 55 in the world rankings, and was a Davis Cup player. His career didn't just suffer damage, it ended entirely.
If you could, your thoughts on the match?
Well, for sure, it wasn't a good performance from myself, but Jessie used it, so she played better, I played worse, and she won.
Swiatek tries to distract her opponents. It's not only the men that cheat. Iga Swiatek raises her hand to distract her opponents right before a play. She did it with Vekiv during the final match of the San Diego Open, and also tried it during the US Open. During a breakpoint in her second set with Vekic, Swiatek went towards the net and was seen waving her arms in the air while Vekic was about to return the ball. Some people claim that it isn't a hindrance, but I think she's lucky she only gets away with a pat on the back. I mean, she's never even penalized. Anyway, USTA regulations state that any movement that is made intentionally to distract the opponent, such as waving the arms or racket or stomping feet, can be claimed as a hindrance.
I tried to do the same kind of work as usual. I didn't really understand why my serve wasn't working, and it was hard for me to find like a proper solution for that.
So there you have it, some of the most underhanded moments in tennis. What do you think? Should tennis governing bodies come down harder on these kinds of behaviors? Or are these just isolated incidents? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.